Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another episode of Favourite 40 Ranked. Today I'm going to talk about something I don't talk about too often, and that's female directors. I probably don't have that many favourite female directors that kind of encroach into my favourite 50 director lists. Obviously I do have large omissions. I've still to explore the filmography of Agnes Varda, Chantal Akerman, apart from one film that's on this list, and Claire Denis, just to name 3. But I do have obviously lots of films by female directors, and I'm going to show my favourite 40 here. Please let me know in the comments your favourite female filmmakers or films by female directors. But we'll just start off this list with a filmmaker that's, you know, got her knockers, but it's Doris Wishman and Double Agent 73 and Deadly Weapons, both starring Chesty Morgan. These are eye-popping films about a special agent with enormous attributes who can kill at will with her mammalian protuberances, and also has a camera inserted into one of her chesticles and makes use of them as a proper spy would do. These are wonderful films that every house should own. At number 39 is Ruth Paxton's A Banquet. This is a lovely little film about a mother and daughter, and the daughter comes back from a night out saying that she is the second coming and has reached enlightenment and is the chosen one, and how the mother kind of takes that proclamation as the daughter goes more and more slightly unhinged. Again, I found it to be a lovely little film. It doesn't get great reviews, but I thought it was really quite lovely. And then at 38, a film that got generally wonderful reviews, but I'm not as high on it as the film by the director is up next. Julia Ducournau's Raw. I mean, it's a good film. I do need to watch it again, but I just tended to find the characters all rather unlikable. But who knows, her second film might be on this list a little bit higher, but that's Raw at number 38. At 37, we're going to Greece for Athena Rachel Tsangari and Attenberg. Rachel Tsangari, or Athena Rachel Tsangari, co-wrote Dogtooth by Lanthimos, and Yorgos Lanthimos acts in this film. It's a similar setting to Lanthimos's Kineta, a kind of very quiet, deserted town, and these two women have a interesting relationship. It's wonderfully odd and highly enjoyable, and it also co-stars Lanthimos, regular, early regular. It's a study of very strange behaviour, as you can see, and it's lots of fun. At number 36, this is Lynn Lippman's Testament. This is a TV movie about nuclear holocaust. It's a heartwarming affair, and it has early performances by Lucas Haas and Kevin Costner. It also stars Jane Alexander, William Devane. It looks like a TV movie, but it's actually quite wonderful, despite this lovely cover. They never had a chance to see their children grow up, to watch each other grow, to fix up the house, to take that vacation, because it only took an instant to shatter their dreams. Nice. At number 35, My 20th Century, by Ildiko Enyidi, who may appear on the list later. This was recommended by a friend of the channel, Chris Mohan, who hopefully one day will come back to the BlueTube community after his long journey. Yeah, this is a wonderful film. Hard to describe, but well worth watching. At number 33 is Amber Seeley's No Man of God, which is a lovely little film with Elijah Wood as he interviews Ted Bundy. It's a nice little two-hander, low budget, but quite lovely. Number 32, there's lots of films really, but this is Lotte Reniger, the German with the shadow puppetry. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of short films in this. The Adventures of Prince Ahmed is the feature one, which is 67 minutes. But there's lots of extras, and I also have another set of an even more extensive collection of her films. Next, a director who would be probably amongst my favourite female directors, Elaine May, Mikey and Nicky, not to be confused by Nike and Mickey, with Peter Falk and John Cassavetes as two low-level gangsters, if you will. Sadly, Elaine May didn't get a chance to make more films, and sadly Warren Beatty stopped Indicator releasing Ishtar. Naughty Warren Beatty. But these are wonderful films. Might hear from Elaine May later on in the list. And then another director who might be amongst my favourite female directors, the wonderful Ida Lupino. This is Outrage. Ida Lupino may appear on the list later as well. This is a film about an outrage that's put on a young girl, because they never use the R word. It's just an outrage, but it's wonderful. This imprint edition has a commentary by Alexandra Hella-Nicholas, and it's quite wonderful. Next we have Marianne Sartrapi with The Voices. This is arguably Ryan Reynolds' best performances. Unfortunately, they kind of went for a bit too much humour. If they kind of played it a little bit straighter, it would be even better. I mean, there's a musical number at the end which doesn't really work. But he actually gives a wonderful performance as a sociopath who collects heads and gets advice from his cat and his dog. Yeah, could have been even darker and even better, but some of the choices I wouldn't have done personally, but then I don't make films, which is probably good for society. Jane Arden's The Other Side of the Underneath, which stars Jane Arden as well, and Penny Slinger, famous artist. This is strange but wonderful, into schizophrenia. It's another fascinating BFI release. Nobody else would really be releasing films like this. And it's quite wonderful. Also have Anti-Clock as well. Next at number 24, one of my favourite romance films, Desert Hearts by Donna Deitch. I recently did a video of one of her other films, The Wizard of Oz Goes to a Concentration Camp, The Devil's Arithmetic, but Desert Hearts in 1985 is quite wonderful, about two women. At number 23, Karnal, by Mary Lou Diaz Abaya. She also did, as part of the trilogy, Moral and Brutal, which I need to get because they're both on Canny, the Vinegar Syndrome partner label as well. This is a wonderful film from the Philippines from 1983, about a guy who comes back to his hometown after failing in the big city, and it leads to lots of resentment and wonderful badness. Yeah, it's a wonderful film, and I need to get the other two parts of the trilogy. Number 22, you could call this Turkey Love, but Big by Penny Marshall. And this has the director's cut, which I didn't realise even existed, and I didn't realise has an F-bomb in it. I mean, I had no idea growing up that there was an edition of Big that had an F-bomb in it. Still probably one of Tom Hanks' finest performances. Granted, if the roles had been reversed, pardon the pun, and it was a little girl in a woman's body and a man, an adult man, then fancied her, yeah, it probably wouldn't have been made. Next, again, I've just got some of these on disc, so I'm not going to show them, but Whip It, Drew Barrymore's directorial debut, with Ellen Page, is just absolutely wonderful. It's a sports story, and we've seen sports stories quite often, but this is fantastic. It's a great performance by Marcia Gay Harden as Ellen Page's mum, and it's quite wonderful. Drew Barrymore is in it as well. Kirsten Wiig, who I really enjoy, is in it, and it's just quite wonderful. Next at number 20 is Patty Jenkins' Monster, with an Oscar-winning performance by Charlize Theron as Elaine Warnos, and of course Patty Jenkins would go on to make Wonder Woman. Right. Number 19 is Ida Lupino again. I've just got this on DVD disc, and it's The Bigamist. Ida Lupino again stars as one of two women who are both married to the same man. Again, it's a wonderful little pot boiler. Again, another economical directorial piece by the wonderful Ida Lupino. At number 18 is the only Chantal Akerman film I've seen, the famous Sean Dielman, who was voted as the greatest film of all time, Sight and Sound, in the last rendition in 2022. It's not, but they have to vote for something. This is very good. I would say it is very, very good. because who doesn't like watching a woman go about her house chores, and it's Delphine Seyrig, and we all like a bit of Seyrig. At 17, Anne Turner's Celia, which is just a wonderful little Australian film. Again, I'll ask the same question. Is there an Australian film who makes Australia look like a nice place to live? Because I have quite a lot of Australian films and none of them are that make Australia that appetising. This is Australia through the eyes of a little girl, as the real world encroaches into her fantasy world. It's just a lovely little gem. Number 16, Nadia Tassi's Malcolm. I suppose this is one of the most light-hearted Australian films I have, I guess, but it's still about petty crime, and it's just a wonderful little heist film. Colin Friels gives a wonderful performance as the slightly slow Malcolm, who's exploited by the petty crooks to get involved in a heist with his own brand of inventions. It's just an absolute joy. I remember seeing this decades ago and it still stands up today. Next, Lynn Ramsay's We Need to Talk About Kevin, with Tilda Swinton, John C. Reilly and Ezra Miller. This is a wonderful film. I still haven't seen Ratcatcher, which is bizarre, but I do need to see Ratcatcher. Wasn't a huge fan of Morven Callan, but again, it's been a while since I've seen that. Yeah, this is a great little film. Was that Ezra Miller's first film? Quite possibly. Next, Catherine Bigelow and Near Dark. Absolutely wonderful. This was released pretty much around the same time as The Lost Boys. This is the far superior film. This is a kind of adult film. The word vampire is never used. There's no kind of tropes of vampirism in it, apart from the bloody part. Great performance, obviously, by Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen. Jeanette Goldstein's in it as well. It was a reuniting of the Aliens cast. I did actually miss out another Catherine Bigelow film at number 30, which was Strange Days. Again, I just had the disc, so I completely forgot to actually mention it. The Strange Days is flawed, but it's wonderful. Ray Fiennes in one of his best performances, Angela Bassett in one of her best performances. Yeah, but Strange Days and Near Dark are wonderful. You could argue Catherine Bigelow kind of obviously works in a genre that is kind of male dominated, but Catherine Bigelow's been at it for quite some time, and always produces solid films. But Near Dark, I would say, is her finest work. It's absolutely wonderful. Great score by Tangerine Dream as well. Yes, Near Dark's fantastic. Should really have a red Blu-ray case for that. I said we would mention Julia Ducournau again. This is Titane. I much prefer this to Raw. Again, she's got another one coming out this year, which I think hasn't had great reviews, but I'll still watch it, obviously, because she is a filmmaker I'm interested in. Yeah, Titane's fantastic. It's a much better, again, the main character is unlikable, but I think she's more interestingly unlikable than the characters in Raw, but again, that's just me. Yeah, lovely story with a wonderful happy ending. That's Titane. At number 13, at number 12 is Ixe Ixe, or Goodnight Mommy. This is a co-director with Veronica Franz. This is a wonderful little film, heartwarming, as two twins welcome their mother home after surgery, but they kind of get it into their head that it's maybe not their mother, and they kind of come up with ways to test her to see if it is actually the mother. The film looks beautiful. This is a wonderful Umbrella collector's edition with a hardback box. Yeah, lovely, lovely film. I would highly recommend it. And there's wonderful visual essays included in the extras, which is quite wonderful. We're back to the Philippines, and this is, I'll butcher the name, Duane Baltazar, with Ode to Nothing. I've talked about this film before. It's a beautiful little film about a woman who works in a mortuary, and she develops a relationship with a corpse of an old woman, not in the necromantic sense, just in the somebody to talk to sense. It's quite a beautiful little film. Obviously not for everybody, but then what film is for everybody? But it's just heartwarming. It's heartwarming. A woman and a corpse. I mean, you don't get much more heartwarming than that. Number 10, a film that really blew me away, and yes, it's got Anthony Hopkins in it, and this is Julie Taymor's Titus, an adaptation of Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus, or the tragedy of Titus Andronicus. Jessica Lange's maybe a little bit miscast, and certainly there's a Jonathan Rhys-Meyers performance that's truly awful, but Alan Cummings is wonderful in it. The production design and the costumes are amazing. Anthony Hopkins, as much as I'm not a huge fan of him, gives a great performance in this, and it's just absolutely brilliant. It really impressed me, and I have a video on the channel of it. Number 9, a director who sadly died way too young. This is Ravenous by Antonio Bird, which doesn't get talked about enough, but it is absolutely fantastic. Guy Pearce, I think this is one of his first American films, even though Antonio Bird's not American. Robert Carlyle, Jeremy Davis, Jeffrey Jones, and David Arquette. I won't tell you about it if you've never seen it, but it's wonderful. About appetite of one kind or another. And then from Mika Ninagawa, which I need to see more of her films, but they're kind of hard to get. This is Sakuran. I did a random review of this years ago. There is a Blu-ray which hopefully I'll be able to afford one day. This stars Anna Tsuchiya from Kamikaze Girls, but at the time I hadn't seen Kamikaze Girls, but now seeing Kamikaze Girls, oh wonderful. I've now got 2 Anna Tsuchiya films. Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. I should actually just wait out for a 4K, because this is absolutely gorgeous. The colours, especially the colour red, is absolutely stunning in the film. At 7, again, this is Ildiko Enya from Hungary. This is On Body and Soul. This is just a wonderful, wonderful film. But again, not for everybody. And this is relatively modern. This is about 2 people who share the same dream that they're dear. That's all I've got to say about that. It's absolutely brilliant though. At number 5, Gloria Katz and Messiah of Evil. Talk about a film that blew me away. This is bizarre that Gloria Katz and her writing partner, or writing director partner, Willard Hayek, also wrote Howard the Duck. It's bizarre. I mean, this is absolutely brilliant and odd and strange. It's a California Gothic It's got like Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, and it's absolutely brilliant. But they also wrote Howard the Duck. They were helping George Lucas with American Graffiti, and then they got to go write their own film and go make their own film. Yes, there was studio interference, but it's still an amazing experience. It is just absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen Messiah of Evil before, just the look, the colours, the atmosphere, it's quite bonkers, but it works so well, and it is just absolutely wonderful. It should have a 4K as well, because it's just absolutely gorgeous and its bonkerness. I mentioned Elaine May before, I'll mention her again. This is A New Leaf, which is getting a 4K from Cinematheque, the Vinegar Syndrome partner label. This has Elaine May starring with Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau plays a complete cad who preys on Elaine May. It's just absolutely beautiful, it's hilarious. From 1971, and again, she should have been allowed to make more films, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. Number 3 is Once a Moth. We're back to the Philippines. Female directors from the Philippines seem to be right up my alley. This is a film by Lupita Aquino Kashiwahara. Again, apologies for all these mispronunciations. This is absolutely fantastic. This is, on one part, it's about a woman who wants to go to America. Again, the American dream, and the other side is the effects of an American Air Force base on their doorstep and what that brings. So it's the juxtaposition of both these attitudes towards America. It's absolutely brutal, and strangely enough doesn't make America look good. But it's an absolutely brilliant film, which I would highly recommend. That's Once a Moth. Straight in at number 3. Number 2 is one of my films of the year, and Steve for Films recently had it in his best films that he's watched in July? No, maybe June. It's The Night Porter by Liliana Cavani. This is absolutely gorgeous, from 1974. It's a romance of sorts, where Charlotte Rampling recognises Dirk Bogarde in a hotel in Vienna in the 1950s as a Nazi officer who tortured her and did other things to her, but they have somewhat of a bond. Some people call it absolute trash and irredeemable and immoral and disturbing, but it's absolutely wonderful. There's a great interview with Charlotte Rampling. It's a wonderful presentation, it's a 4K restoration, and it's absolutely brilliant. One of the best films I've watched this year, and consequently one of the best films of the 70s. Now, number 1 was always going to be number 1. This is a film that absolutely blew me away the first time I saw it. I remember when it came out in 1992. This is Sally Potter's Orlando, and this is the studio, or this is the Curzon, sorry, Artificial Eye 4K, the recent big hardback box. I already had it in 4K, but I accidentally bought this version as well. Lovely booklet. Again, another film, the production design is just absolutely gorgeous. The costumes, the music. I do have another Sally Potter film in the backlog, but again, she hasn't made that many films. And again, you get a script with it as well. And you also get the film, which is a bonus. So not only do you get the books and the poster and the art cards and the cardboard box, you also get the films. I mean, what a package. And this is just an absolute joy, as Tilda Swinton goes through about 400 years, half as a man, half as a woman. It's absolutely brilliant, sensational, absolute masterwork. It's pretty high on my favourite films of all time, but it's certainly my favourite film by a female director. So thanks very much for watching. I know I've got to do better with female directors, but that's 40 films that are all fairly different and special in their own way. So please let me know what some of your female directed films are that are your favourites. And hopefully you'll join me for more episodes of Favourite 40 Ranked. This is Solitude Ronan from Solitude Ronan Films, saying farewell.